she will do. And then with Jimmy Kimmel,
Hi guys, welcome back to Elder Scrolls Online.
but it turns out that at that point, Stormy had decided that she was going
It's continuing on from Auridon.
She wanted to go on and speak and have her piece. So all of that kind of laying the groundwork, and really one of the interesting things that they established on that side of the equation this morning was that all the back and forth was between Michael Cohen and King Davidson. Davidson said he never met or interacted with the former president at all. So then what you see now going on when people go for the defense is that they're trying to tear down the credibility of Davidson. They are the ones who have brought in all these other sex tapes that he brokered, money exchanged over things with Tina Tequila and Hulk Hogan. He wouldn't get into his transactions for Charlie Sheen. He said, look, I've had 15,000 clients. I don't remember every single transaction. But what they're trying to do is basically put him in the same bucket with Michael Cohen, saying neither one of these people, the defense, have any credibility. Also establishing for them that, that these were deals that were handled by Cohen, not by former President Donald Trump. And the other thing that I would just quickly mention, John, is an interesting exchange between Davidson and Cohen, where Cohen called him in December, right after the election, and basically is commiserating with him and saying, can you believe that I am not going to the White House? He's clearly angry. Wanted to be Attorney General, wanted to be Chief of Staff. He is livid. He said, after everything that I did for that guy, can you believe that I'm not going to the White House? Which was an interesting moment that was recounted by Davidson as well, who obviously, had pretty much had it with these lengthy conversations with Michael Cohen, railing at him. But they're establishing, that friction. It's pretty interesting. And then they got into basically establishing Davidson. They tried to the defense as an extortionist, that he transacted this money and pulled it out of all these different celebrities in order to line his pockets, which he obviously continued with. Martha McCall live outside the courthouse there in Manhattan for us. Martha, we'll see you again shortly. Thank you so much.
Martha, thanks.
All right. Thanks, guys. Good to be with you. Thanks,
Sandra.
Thanks, Sandra.
Thank you. Let's bring in Matt Whitaker, former acting Attorney General. So they put Keith Davidson on the stand to the prosecution, expecting that he was going to weave a tale to buttress their contention that Trump somehow committed a crime by affecting the results of the 2016 election long after the election took place. But as I mentioned to Martha, wasn't exactly a stellar witness for the prosecution. He said a lot of things that they probably wouldn't have wanted him to say, including that he wouldn't have considered this to be hush money. He would consider it to be a, quote, consideration.
Right, and what you have is they have to do a magic trick right now, kind of a card trick. They have to show that these sort of fraudulent documents also are related to trying to affect the election. And they need to show both because they're both misdemeanors. That elevates it to the felony.
Okay.
5-year statute of limitations extended to 6. The only way this case is in court. But what did this witness just say today? He essentially said, this happens all the time. And, my sense of hearing what's happening in the courtroom is he said, yeah, we do extort celebrities because they have the money.
Fair day.
People that are making,
fair day to you. You're here with supplies for Tellinger, I expect.
So I think that
Please
undermines
don't
a
tell
lot
him
of
I was
this
sitting down on the job.
connection to the campaign.
Stars,
This is
yes.
something
The
that
dig
happens to
site leader.
celebrities
Look,
all
he's
the time.
just up the path.
15,000
Just
clients.
keep your mouth shut about me.
I think their case is factually crumbling, but it's also that when those facts crumble, then the law that it's based on completely falls apart.
Matt, Sandra here. Just want to play out some of the former president's comments earlier on this case.
There's no case that should have never been brought, but if it was going to be brought, it should have been brought 8 years ago.
At last. You must be here with my supplies. Just put the ink and delicate items in the tent here. You can begin unloading the bulkheads with my assistance.
A case right smack in the middle of somebody's election.
Truly, this is the last time I trust an order to that Bosma. It fits, though. His doing has been one disaster after another. First the spirits, now the supplies. And to top it off, my top scholar and her team are missing. Stars, yes. Dewan and her team are somewhere in the ruins looking for the Malari Mora. They're long overdue. If you're not here with supplies, perhaps you go look for them.
This one has gone to
Best case scenario, they found the Mora. I don't want to think about the worst case. Too many variables.
Like they had hoped. And remember, everyone that
Curious
undermined
question.
Michael Cohen,
But if you insist, I am Tellinger the Artificer, renowned genius, author, and explorer. As Dewan is my latest endeavor. I will bring further glory and honor to the Mages Guild.
I think it's going quite the
I I've come in search of the Malloy Mora. I'll present it to the council and reap the rewards.
He said he expected that after everything he'd
Quite
done for
attentive,
Donald Trump, he
yes.
was going to be
The
the attorney
Malloy
chief.
Mora is an ancient
Or he was
relic,
going to be
a
the White House
talisman.
chief of staff.
Its power took the
And
lives of
Davidson said
everyone
he was
here,
so distraught
cursed
about
their
the fact that Trump
immortal
was afraid
souls.
for Washington, he thought he was going to kill himself. And that kind of
Oh,
lays the
actually,
groundwork.
they weren't here when we
Somebody who
arrived.
might be a
Though
little
it's merely
vindictive
conjecture, I
when it
believe
comes to
someone has
Holocaust.
rediscovered
Let me
the
ask you
Mora.
about these
The
protests.
disturbance of the
Because we've
talisman
seen
has
the
caused the
law
bound
finally
dead to stir.
10 days after the last time
She used to be one of my prized students, very accomplished. She's now a high-ranking member of the Mages Guild, the Master of Incunabula. She oversees the Arcaneum and Skywatch.
Under civil rights law to get involved in what we see across the map.
Assisting me, of course. Ondelwyn is a true seeker of knowledge. She may care for her books, but research in the field is her first love. In Canabula, she oversees research and training, a coveted position. One that most of my students aspire to, but few will obtain. Yes, now that you mention it. Serinque, one of my students, said something about freeing the spirits. She's nowhere near as analytical as Ondelwyn. I think she's down at our forward camp. I'm sure she's fine.
From the Biden administration, there's just no appreciation for the terrible policies and what position it's put law enforcement in to try to, kind of run, walk this very tightrope of maintaining law and order, but at the same time respecting people's personal rights. But their message is disgusting.
I mean, just looking at this live shot at George Washington and of the George Washington statue, as students are,
No book.
they're still adding to this. I mean, this is destruction of property, and it remains that way right now, Matt. What's my final thought?
Yeah, again, I think the American people in places like where I'm from, in Iowa, are just completely appalled by what's happening. And, if you have a political cause that you want to support, go protest, be peaceful, march, but respect other people's equally passionate views, and certainly don't desecrate some of our most important national monuments.
The magical lattice can be disrupted, but the underlying problem remains. Fair day. How goes the translations? Wait, you're not one of Tellinger's students. A fair day indeed. I'm studying the spirits that now haunt these ruins. I believe they can be released, sent on to their final reward. Perhaps you'd be willing to help with an experiment. Take this crystal. I've etched a series of micro runes onto its surface. Weaken the spirit's hold on the physical world, and then focus your will. That should sever the spirit's hold on Nern. Allow it to pass into Aetherius.
Expansive display space.
My talents do not lie in the brute application of spell power. Otherwise, I would be at your side. Field experimentation is fascinating.
We still left room for all the unpredictability, spontaneity, and unexpected.
Much of magic is in the detail. These spirits should not be here. Their presence is inherently fragile. With manipulations of the magicka field around you, your will can carry the punch of a warhammer.
When I look for a contractor, it's someone who's reliable and still that's where Angie goes. With top-rated certified pros in over 500 categories, Angie connects you with the right pro for any home project. Find top-rated certified pros in your area at Angie.com. Consumer Cellular, this is Sam. How may I help you?
You've lifted my curse. I'm free to seek my rest.
You've got to confirm that Consumer Cellular same exact coverage as the leading carriers, but for around half the price.
Find a great deal, your ideal deal.
Light it!
Selection check, checkout dates, search. Compare prices, save things up, and save $30. Quotes out, Trivago.
The curse. It is gone. I owe you my freedom. Say,
Despite treatment, it's still not under control. But now I have Rimbo is one state
can it be? Free from the curse of the Mallory Mora.
suffers locations while significant. As early as 2 days. Some achieve dramatic skin control as early as 2 weeks. And many
The Mallory Mora no longer finds me. Thank you.
Serious infections of the lungs, cancers, influence, heart attack, stroke, and cancers. People 50 and over with a heart disease risk factor have increased risk.
Thought
this my spiritual grave? Thank you for giving me freedom.
Help heal your painful skin.
Halfway there.
And rash of eczema. Talk to your doctor about your learn about
Joey has made third-party choices tonight on Jesse Waters.
You've undone my curse. I thank you, Great One.
The Malari Mora no longer binds me here. Free of the curse.
What's this? The curse is gone? My freedom has returned! The curse is gone. Finally, I am at peace. Thank you.
Washington campus in our last shot there of the statue that has been obviously vandalized and destruction of property obviously taking place there. You see the flag up to the top right-hand side of the screen there. What we've been watching over the last couple of minutes.
The weight has been lifted and peace will be mine. Thank you.
Raise the Palestinian flag.
Traveler, I must speak with you. Meet me at the vault entrance on the ruin's edge.
First time, those that are trying to do that, but they are trying to raise the Palestinian flag on the campus of George Washington University.
You're not dead. That makes you my new friend. Thank the stars for that, old man. Cammy is hurt, and some of my team members have been taken. We need to get her back to camp. Now that you're here, we can make a break for it. Some of the spirits appeared, grabbed my researchers, and then vanished. We need to get into the Undercroft. It's the only place I can think they'd be. Perhaps we were out there looking for runes. Combined, these runes form a key. We only need 2 more. Take a look, and I'll meet you at the entrance of Esduin's Undercroft.
Sorry, yeah, it sounded like it was a little noisy. I said, you were in the protest camp. You were siding with the protesters, and a lot of people were wondering why a Jewish student would explain.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for this question. I'd be with you as a member of Jewish Voice for Peace at UCLA, which is an organization that is founded on the values of justice, equality, and dignity for all. Failed answers to very real questions of food safety, and I had the believe that this safety should have come at the expense of Palestinians who faced over 7 decades of ethnic cleansing, and of course the most recent round of violence led to 35,000 Palestinians dead, 1.9 million slaves, imminent revolution, running on energy, that's what's responsible.
So where are you sitting in the support
Ah, you prick.
That goes for Israeli and Palestinians. And at the same time, I believe that one crime does not justify other crimes. As a person in the United States, conflict, finding weapons and funding and political cover. And so I believe my role is to address my own complicity and the complicity of the government.
Nothing is certain until it
President
happens.
Biden spoke about this a little while ago in terms of, he talked about violence, he talked about free speech, he also talked about the anti-Semitism that we see being fomented on some college campuses across the country. Listen to what
I
the
made a
president
bet
said
with
a short time ago.
Theron on the way back to camp.
No place in
Did
any
you find the
campus,
runes?
no place in America
That myrrh
for
owes me 5
anti-Semitism
gold.
or threats
You've
of
done
violence
well.
against Jewish students.
Just a moment, then I'll
There is
assemble
no
the key.
place for hate speech or violence of any
I
kind,
hope
whether it's
so. If
anti-Semitism,
they're not,
Islamophobia,
not worth thinking
discrimination
about right
against
now.
Arab Americans or Palestinian Americans.
This will be quick.
So Ben, you have been in there amongst the protesters. Have you witnessed any anti-Semitism?
There,
Have you witnessed
it's done.
support for Hamas?
Let's go.
You know, in my experience, I have not, and I would say that this is a place where President Biden and I agree. I think there is no place for anti-Semitism, and one of my values as part of this movement is a commitment to Jews and Jewish communities. I respect the feelings of others when they feel.
I felt the curse drawn back to these ruins.
And what I think is that we need to feel much more critically because it is a and yes, we need to distinguish between, say, a protest chant or something that makes us uncomfortable and maybe even
I felt the curse drawn back to these ruins, just as I felt your touch release them back to Aetherius.
So, while that's not my
I am Quaranadil,
you know, I
once a member of the
respect
proud Dua family,
feelings that
now
others
lashed to the
have,
face of
and I would say
Nern
that
by
it's part of
shame.
this walk, and I think this has
I had the misfortune to call Asanyon Dua my brother. Esduin was home to many powerful mages when I walked beneath the sky. Within this vault lies a magical lattice, very similar in function to the crystal you now hold,
Just really quickly before
only
you go,
much,
and I hope that
much
you can
more
hear me.
powerful.
What do you say to the? And
Just
we've talked
so.
to plenty of them, Jewish
There
students
is
who feel
one
threatened,
obstacle to
who don't feel
overcome,
comfortable
a
being on
puzzle
college campuses,
that defends
people
the
who've been
ancient
accosted,
mage's spell
people who've
work.
been told that they cannot pass,
13
they cannot go to
tiles
school.
surround
What do
a
you say to those
chest
groups?
within. The correct
Yeah, I
4
think this is really,
must be
it's really
activated to
complicated,
access the
and,
lattice.
you know, as a Jewish person myself, it's something that I have a lot of empathy for.
Knowing the
And
mage, I
having gone
only
through
have
many of
my
these
best
experiences
guess.
myself,
The
I would
tiles
say
represent the great
it's
constellations.
strange to
He
realize
held the
that,
guardian constellations in high
you know,
regard.
we're allowed to make
The
distinctions
mage,
between,
the thief,
the Jewish
and the warrior.
Israeli and Zionist, and although these categories may blur, I think it's important to recognize when a student
Good luck,
is,
traveler.
say,
The
taking
lattice
up
may be
a
the last hope for the fallen.
political position that they hold. I would say has been the case rather than making people feel uncomfortable based on their identity per se. So, you know, again, these things blur, and we need to be much more critical about their position.
Well, Ben, we thank you for joining us, giving us your perspective on all of this, perspective we haven't heard before. Thank you, appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Sandra?
John, Fox News alert. This just in from our reporter, C.B. Cotton. These are live pictures of UCLA. We're getting some word out of New York City where NYPD sources are confirming to her about the protest here that 282 people were arrested Tuesday night at Columbia
Now to
University
find the
and City
others.
College of New York. 134 of them were not affiliated with either
Meldor.
school. That is nearly
Thank
half.
Ariel he's still alive.
148 did have
Meldor,
affiliation.
have you seen the others?
Oh, by the way, an affiliation
tried
is
to
not
stop him.
necessarily
I
a
couldn't.
current or full-time
I couldn't help
student.
them.
We're going to have more on that coming up.
Uri
Also, as we
Kanta.
look live at
He's
UCLA,
here.
hours after
He's
police
tracked the others.
dismantled the
He's using their souls to
Many
form
are
the
asking, is
gate.
it too little, too late? We're going to hear from a
have to
UCLA
stop
medical
him.
student who says the school should have moved in day one.
The gate opens onto a shard of Aetherius. Without the soul-binding rituals, the gate will close. Take my amulet. It should let you see, touch Aetherius. You'll have to make a decision. Break the bindings, or kill the students. Just beware the Thirsters. The overlay with Aetherius has allowed powerful spirits into the undercroft. They're what brought us down here in the first place.
The toughest job in the
Be
Navy is being a
careful.
wife.
If one gets a hold of you, you could get pulled in yourself.
The spouse of you understand what I'm talking about. Your spouse has earned the right to
I'm going to tend to Meldil. We'll move to the room just behind me. We should be safer in there.
So if you had a situation
Of course, but speak quickly. It's a name we're all trying to forget. Uricantor is very close. Was very close to me. Tellinger carved him out of the guild and forbade him to use magic again. He couldn't understand that power has to have limits, that some costs are too high. You can see here what he's willing to do for a taste of power.
The 1878 to 1921 Morgan silver dollar, a true American classic and one of the most iconic silver
How
dollar
long do you
coins in
have?
history. It has
I'm
been
sorry,
over
this is just
100
not the
years
place
since
for a
last Morgan
protracted
silver dollar
metaphysical
coins went into
conversation.
circulation. But now,
It
for
may be
limited
enough to
time
say
only,
that
full
Aetherius is
bags
the
of
spirit
original
realm,
US government-strung
the land of the
Morgan dollars
dead.
are being released to the public. That's right.
I can't
You can
begin
own
to
a full
guess, not
pound of
without more
1878 to
information,
1921
but the
classic
use of the
American
Malari
Morgan
Mora,
silver dollar coins
it may
are
have
in very
twisted,
good
broken off a
collector
part of the
condition,
spirit
fully visible
world.
dates and mint marks
If a mage were to gain
guaranteed. Call
access to such a
1-800-333-2210
place, the power,
now to
that
secure
sounds like
collector-grade
Uricantar.
West Morgan silver dollars by the pound, struck during the Wild West and the Gilded Age. Plus, receive a bonus American collector's pack valued at over $25 free with every order. Call 1-800-333-2210 now to secure your full pound bag of Morgan silver dollar coins before they are gone. 1-800-333-2210. That's 1-800-333-2210.
Ego, the #1 rated brand in horizontal power, brings you the Ego Power Plus String Trimmer with Power Lift technology. Lead the line, push the button, and get back to work. Ego exclusively blows and Ego authorized takers.
I'm Jonathan, here to tell you about life insurance through the Colonial Pen program. If you're age 50 to 85 and looking to buy life insurance on a fixed budget, remember the 3 P's.
What are the 3 P's?
The 3 P's of life insurance
Make it stop.
are price, price, and price. A price you can afford, a price that can't increase, and a price that fits your budget.
I'm 54. What's my price?
You can be covered for $9.95. I'm 65. Take my insurance.
What's mine?
Also $9.95.
I just turned 80. What's my price?
$9.95 a month. If you're age 50 to 85, call now. Options start at $9.95. Your acceptance is there. And this plan has guaranteed lifetime rate. So your rate can never go up for any reason. So call now for information. And you'll also get this free beneficiary plan. And it's yours free.
The
Just
spell
call.
will
So
cloak
call
you
now
from
for free
spirits.
information.
Call 1-800-700-2020 for your free information and your free gift. That's 1-800-700-2020. Don't wait. 1-800-700-2020. Call now.
All right, please recap that encampment at UCLA this morning. That's a live look at what is left of that. Still quite a mess there. The anti-Israel protesters refused to leave on the steps at UCLA. Should have addressed it day one. Coming out of the top team. And really just right now. I'm not too much for your time. It's our understanding that you were able to hear our last chat. You do it in actually support people. What was your reaction to hearing people?
So, I just want to say he's like a really nice guy and seems to care deeply about Palestinians and Israelis. But I have to say that being anti-Israel is a fringe minority in the Jewish community. There have been several studies and polls that show that 90 to 95%
token of my
of Jews
thanks.
are Zionists, meaning that we believe that Israel has the right to exist, that Jews should be able to live freely in their native homeland, and it does not mean they should live there at the expense of Palestinians. People are redefining this term, but the vast majority of Jews are pro-Israel, and so tokenizing this student was part of Jewish Voice for Peace, a very radical anti-Israel club on campus, and on a lot of campuses, that's exactly what it is. It's tokenization, and it does not represent the Jewish community. And just because they have Jewish students that are a part of these encampments does not absolve these encampment movements from anti-Semitism. Just because they hold a Shabbat in the camp does not mean that they aren't also chanting death to Zionists or Intifada, which is a call for violence against Jews. So it does not absolve them from anti-Semitism and does not cut a movement and does not anti-Semitism.
You can't help but think of these pictures where they're hanging up these cameras there live on the screen, just scooping up all the trash left behind from these protests, trash bags, just all the personal items that were left behind on the lawn there. They're just scooping them up and put them into a dumpster. I'm sure a lot of these students were on the front lines of climate change protests as well. This was a bit from
This spell will help you move past the spirits.
Ben Kirsten. Repeat your reaction to this.
No, I feel welcome, not just as an organization, but as a Jewish person. We made programming
Please.
regular part of the encampment, and looking at space for learning and community.
That was really interesting. A really beautiful day to describe there. As the president this morning condemned any protest that's for Friday, he said he does support peaceful protests that are happening. But the encampments you said are not. Those are not peaceful. I know your take is that this is just too little too late. You believe they should have moved in day one. They let this fester too long.
Yes, exactly. That's exactly what I believe. And although he's saying that this encampment is peaceful, I know that there's been violence every single day. On the first night, my close friend Lonnie, she was basically assaulted multiple times. She was pushed off a ledge for holding a sign condemning Hamas. And I've seen chants of them, in a circle chanting Intifada. And that's a call for violence against Jews. And anyone who knows Israeli history knows that the first and second Intifada resulted in a lot of suicide bombings and just murdering Jews. And chanting that in the middle of a campus, it just does not belong in an academic environment like that.
This was a UCLA professor, Nir Hoffman, saying these protests have been anything but peaceful.
By the light of Auriel, you've
This was never
returned.
peaceful. Jews were not
You are
allowed
a
to go
capable
in
sort.
to the campus.
Stars
Jews were not allowed
guard
to
your
go to the library.
steps.
Jews were not
I'm
allowed
going to get us
go
out
to
of here.
classes.
Put a stop to this
It was never
madness.
peaceful.
Find
They're
Urikanta and
vandalizing
end
the entire
him.
quad.
Let me ask you something, Eliana. Did your friend who you just described endured really a lot of violence and threats, specifically to her? You said she was physically shoved and pushed. Did she ever call the police and report that?
Tallinger's latest pawn approaches. Hold a moment before we continue the game.
CPD has been there.
The old mayor and I have played the game for some time now. So sad to see another soul caught between us.
UCLA administration, never told them to intervene. So this is
Of course you
really on
have.
UCLA.
He can't possibly let me go. Can't possibly let me succeed. It no longer matters. After you're dead and gone, I'll find new vessels, draw forth the power I need from them. And I hadn't planned to be here. I planned to take over from the old Mer and perform the life binding with Aunt Derwin. Instead, look at me. This is my last chance for a legacy, to own and control a shard of the Arthur.
I only have 5 seconds left here, Eliana. You're studying medicine.
I wouldn't have it any other way.
Best and brightest,
Come, let's see which of us lives to tell this tale.
Good doctors. Are you worried about the future of college in America?
I mean, I don't want to say anything bad about my fellow classmates, but I will say that I'm the most vocal pro-Israel student and probably the only openly very Zionist student. There's other Jewish students, not very many, which is concerning. That's a problem to address another time. But there
Secrets
is
of Aetherius will be
very
mine.
widespread anti-Israel belief in my midst.
Who?
So
Now?
I've heard anti-Semitic rhetoric.
That is an incredible statement. I mean, there's no room for that in medicine.
Yeah, and my school specifically, I don't know if you've heard about the anti-Semitism that was previously, in first-year curriculum, but yeah, yeah, we've been in the news. There was one of the first year classes, the leader led a free Palestine chant. So this is kind of embedded into our curriculum.
Those are just huge statements. Eliana, we'll follow up with you. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much.
Wow.
Conflicted judge, unfortunately, and so you never know. But other than that, there's no case that it should have never been brought.
Former President Trump once again sounding off against his New York criminal case as the jury hears more testimony today. And now it looks as if the DA's case could be starting to fall apart. Carrier Ron joins us next on where the case goes from here.
Tired muscles joint. Keeping me doing things I love most. Not anymore. New 80-month Freedom Pack. It supports healthy muscles and joints.
Shop our expanded family of products at major online retailers.
Ever wonder what the Experian app can do? The benefits are all around you. See your FICO score for free. Raise it instantly before your next big purchase. Find a new credit card that matches your lifestyle. Download the Experian app and try it for free. It's only a matter of time until the cheap engine light comes on, or worse yet, your car needs repair. That could mean a big surprise car repair bill. Those repairs are more expensive than a new engine could be over $5,000. A new transmission over $4,000. That's why it's so important you call CarShield today. CarShield is the #1 auto protection company in the country.
I like CarShield because they were reliable, they were affordable, and they were trustworthy. I think everybody should have CarShield. Once your manufacturer's warranty is expired, there's just no big bill. We needed repairs. CarShield was there for us.
Now it's your turn to get the peace of mind that comes with CarShield, so you can worry less about auto repairs. Call or go online right now to get
Wait.
for yourself. Friendly, knowledgeable, money-saving representatives are available 24 hours a day. So if your car is 20 years old or newer, just tell us the make and model of your car or truck to get an instant plan quote. In a matter of minutes, you can be covered.
I was elated that I had CarShield, but more than happy.
There's no fun when you have a car that's broken. You can't pay for it to be repaired.
Here's how CarShield works. When your car needs repair, you take it to your favorite mechanic or even your dealer, and CarShield gets them paid directly. That's why CarShield is America's #1 auto protection provider.
CarShield is just the best thing to take away the fear that something is going to go wrong with your car, because it will. And CarShield is going to be there to back you up.
My experience with CarShield is that they absolutely come through every time I.
If my car breaks down, I can count on CarShield to cover it for me. CarShield definitely has my back.
Now it's the time to make the smart choice and protect yourself from sky-high auto repair bills. Call now for a free and instant protection plan quote. It's only a matter of time until repairs are needed, and once your car breaks down, it's too late. Call 1-800-908-6039 or go to carshield.com to cover today. Attention former Marines and family members stationed at Camp Lejeune. If you live or worked at Camp Lejeune, North Carolina, for at least 30 days from August 1953 to December 1987, and have been diagnosed with cancer and neurobehavioral effects, better transport and birth defects, or been diagnosed with fertility issues or more, significant compensation may be available. Call legal injury applicants now to discuss your case. It has been proven that other Camp Lejeune these years was extremely contaminated with toxic chemicals. Legal injury advocates has extensive experience helping you to get the maximum compensation you deserve. Don't wait until it's too late. See if you qualify today. You're not alone in this fight, and there are no upfront costs to begin your journey to justice. The call is completely free, and we're available 24 hours a day. Call Legal Injury Advocates to discuss your case now. Call 1-800-885-5599 or visit www.lip.legal. That's 1-800-885-5599. Call now.
These bills are crazy.
She has no idea she's sitting on a gold mine. She doesn't know that if she owns a life
Warrior.
insurance policy of $100,000 or more, she can sell all or part of it to Coventry for cash.
Chief.
Looking at your policy?
Wizard.
Find out if
What's
you're
this one?
sitting on a gold mine. Call Coventry Direct today at 800-496-9200 or visit coventrydirect.com.
When you can't watch, listen. Get the latest news, business, and news headlines on SiriusXM. Anytime, anywhere. Fox News Audio on SiriusXM. America is listening.
riot police there. You can see them fully geared up with their flexi-cuffs. Had a standoff with some protesters who apparently, Sandra, had occupied the library. According to local reports I've seen, they got people out of the library. There's moments ago we heard the police announcing, stay behind the police tape, do not engage with the police or you will be arrested, as they try to clear the scene there. It's like every day somewhere else in America this pops up.
And the demonstrators began chanting back at the police after they made those announcements that arrests would be made if you interfered with the work of the police on the ground there. But they are standing ready, and we're watching it. A moment ago, it was interesting. I saw one of the cops on the ground had a long stick that went up above the police, their heads. Clearly, they are taking pictures of everything that is happening there in real time.
Indeed.
If this clash were to escalate, so we're going to watch.
You know, some of the protesters that we've seen in some videos that have been posted online are fully kitted out themselves. I watched a confrontation between a protester who had a helmet and his own riot sheet, trying to take a run at one of these police officers. He lost the confrontation.
You've returned, and with the spell
like
lattice?
he'd been hit by the refrigerator parapet.
He came to me and spoke to me about my crystal. When he told me you were retrieving the lattice, I found my courage and followed Par on our tail. You still have the micro-etched crystal I gave you? This lattice is an elegant extension of the principles the crystal uses. By enmeshing it within the lattice, it will amplify the power of the crystal. It will free these spirits of the Malari Mora's curse.
So arrests have been made. They obviously
Wish
had
me
the
luck.
effort to remove the students in a standoff in the library there. We'll see
Look,
what happens
it's
next.
working.
Watching this live
Almost
on
there.
Portland State University, Portland, Oregon. They've been putting up police tape, and as we just heard the announcement just a moment ago, there was a reporter on the ground.
You did it. I can
letting us know
feel it.
exactly what he was seeing. They were putting up more police barricades. But right on the other side of the police tape,
Incredible.
you can see the protesters
Did you
are
see
lining
that?
right up. And
Unfortunate that the crystal lattice was destroyed in the process, but it served its purpose well. Yes, can't you feel it? The spirits still remain, but in time they will learn they are free to move on.
Here, Portland State, with the very large police presence. What was happening at UT Austin, and apparently now UT Dallas, and then what's going on at UCLA? Where here at Portland State, the police are there in full force. UT Austin and Dallas, the same thing. And yet it took as long as it did for UCLA to get the police involved, even though that too is a public company.
Yeah, so we'll keep watching these live pictures, John.
All right, testimony in New York's criminal trial against Trump is set to resume shortly.
Oh.
It looks as if the DA's case may be starting to crumble. Our Fox News legal editor, Carrie Vaughn, breaking down the prosecution's approach to the courtroom. Let's bring her in now. So, Carrie, I think that the prosecution was trying to score some points with Keith Davidson, knowing that he is the person who cut the deal with Michael Cohen for the silence of Stormy Daniels and with David Becker for the silence of Karen McDougal. What he said didn't seem to help their case.
Yeah, I think it helped Trump more than it did their case. In fact, one thing I thought that he said that was interesting was he talked about how what the hush money payment actually works. If you remember, a threshold issue in this case is whether Donald Trump lied when his bookkeeper classified the payment to Michael Cohen to Stormy Daniels as a quote legal expense. The state has taken much issue with this. They said it was concealing something else, and they also, I think, would like to have said reimbursement to Michael Cohen for Stormy Daniels. However, when the state questioned Davidson, the lawyer for Stormy Daniels and Karen McDougal, on the stand and asked him if he would characterize those payments as quote hush money, he declined to do so. And he said, no, it's consideration. Now, consideration is a legal term for contract. And basically what it means is exchanging something of value in return for a promise to abide by the contract. So here, that would be Stormy Daniels getting paid for not disclosing this alleged encounter that she had with Donald Trump. But I thought it was very interesting, John and Sandra, that he would not say it was hush money, called it consideration, which, by the way, is another word for legal expense.
Interesting. How would you describe the vibe in the courtroom, Carrie?
Everyone's paying pretty close attention. There's been some laughter as the lawyers have gone back and forth. They had Keith Davidson obviously is a lawyer, so when he's being questioned by a lawyer, he is doing his own lawyer thing in response. And at one point, the defense got frustrated with him and accusing him basically of playing lawyer games. But it's been certainly interesting. The other
Excellent. Okay, we're done here.
Pulled him and others and said, look, you have a pattern of squeezing people for money when things hit the fan. And the point of him doing that was to
Oh,
show
good. They're all safe
that
now. Okay.
this was not about the election for Donald Trump, but this was a financial benefit to Keith Davidson and his clients, especially because he would get a very big cut of the payoff when he was able to get these things across the finish line.
So let me ask you this question, back to this idea of legal expenses. So the charge against Trump is falsifying business records in order to cover up a previously committed crime, which is ostensibly trying to affect the outcome of the 2016 election. And the falsification of the business records was that payments to Michael Cohen were listed as legal expenses. So if it's legal expenses that was listed and it's, quote, consideration, according to Keith Davidson, where's the prosecution's case?
Right, exactly. Compensation for an NDA is arguably a legal expense, and it also is consideration. And I'm sitting there thinking, I can't believe that state wants to put the former president of the United States in prison over, quibbling over terms and how a legal expense should be classified. That's really what this comes down to, because that has to be established before they can get to the so-called concealing of an underlying crime. And of course, that's problematic as well, because the statute they seem to be pointing to is this conspiracy to promote a candidate by unlawful means. And yet, two problems here. One, if it's a conspiracy, you need two or more persons, and yet they've charged nobody else but Donald Trump. So Donald Trump cannot be in a conspiracy with himself. And two, unlawful means. Well, what does that mean, to promote a candidate by unlawful means? And it strikes me that they are writing into the law what unlawful means as they go along, and hoping no one notices.
That is a lot. So what did we see happening in the next couple hours here, Carrie?
They're going to continue to cross-examine Keith Davidson. We'll hear more about these contracts, these NDAs, these payments that he negotiated on behalf not just of McDougal and Stormy Daniels, but other celebrity clients as well. The bottom line is that it's not disclosure agreements, contracts, standards. It's not illegal.
All right. Well, we'll see where the prosecution's case goes from here. Carrie, great to see you. Thanks for listening.
Okay.
So, any moment now, the criminal trial against the former president is set to resume. Trump slamming the entire thing as an election interference. So where do things go from here? We are going to sit down with Alina Hapa, legal spokeswoman for the former president. She will join us just ahead.
Your best days of the year start. Kubota Orange Days. It's the year's biggest selection of Kubota tractors, zero-turn mowers, and utility vehicles, including the #1 selling compact tractor in the USA. Plus the year's best deals, like 0% APR for 84 months or up to $3,300 off select compact tractors. Orange goes all day. Sales ending soon. Visit Kubota dealer today. Find your nearest dealer at KubotaOrangeDays.com.
Hello, Ghostbusters! It's Doug. I'm Doug Weaver. We help people customize their car. Anyway, we got a bit of a situation here. Sure. Only pay. Ghostbusters throws an empire. Computers now.
Did you hear? A secret hoard of 1907 $10 gold Liberty coins have been found. These gorgeous 1907
still
gold
around.
coins are as bright and
You're a
shiny as the
dedicated
day they were
merchant.
struck. And less than 200 of these gold coins are available. Coin experts are calling this secret U.S. gold coin discovery a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. And you can own a piece of the hoard. When you call, you are guaranteed a 1907 Gold Liberty struck at the iconic Philadelphia Mint. With limited availability, you must call now. These 1907 dated gold coins are still in uncirculated condition with brilliant luster. That is 117 years of history you can hold in your hand. To learn more, call 1-800-777-9590. Call now, and you'll receive a free bonus, a $50 value, free with every order. Call 1-800-777-9590 to secure your 1907 $10 Gold Liberty coins before they sell out. Don't wait.
I'm almost afraid to ask, but what news?
How many times have you
Remarkable.
tried to clean
I'm
a
not easily
stubborn
impressed,
mess,
but you've done it.
end up with
And
no
Urikantar
success?
disappoints to the
What
bitter
you
end.
need is the
Stylist.
all-new waterproof Ruby horsepower, the new cordless and rechargeable power scrubber
All that
that
remains is to
cleans
tend to the
faster
wounded and
easier,
continue the research.
guaranteed.
With
Watch,
Amora in
they've
hand
got
and
oven
Urikantar
grease
dead,
is no
his
match.
doing will soon be
Easily
at peace.
blasts
I'll see
away
to it.
dirt and grime in no time. The power comes from our rotating brushes spinning at 350 RPM. The incredible torque fights calcium, soap, mildew, mold, and more. Forget harsh chemicals. With just plain water, horsepower can clean bathroom tiles and tubs back to their original shine and luster. It's a game changer in the kitchen where it busts through caked-on crud. Take it outside and tackle tough tasks with ease. How strong is horsepower? We took this distressed 100-year-old antique and restored it to like new with horsepower. Amazing! Get your Ruby horsepower scrubber today with bonus scouring sponge for just $39.99. Save on buying batteries. It's powered with the latest rechargeable technology. But wait, you'll also get this stainless steel brush to make range hoods and gas
We're gonna do a rich.
again. Yours free. And we're not done. You'll get this Smart Flex cone brush that fits perfectly into corners, tiny crevices on toilets and tiles, or hard to reach shower door rails. Yours free. And to top it off, we'll include this microfiber cloth to clean delicate surfaces and polish cars sparkling clean. It's also free. Great news. Horsepower is now in stock and ready to ship. But due to high demand, there is a strict limit of 2 per order. Order now.
Call 1-800-317-9970. That's 1-800-317-9970. Or visit horsepowerscrubber.com. So call 1-800-317-9970 now.
People have the right to get an education, the right to get a degree, the right to walk across the campus safely without fear of being attacked.
President Biden finally breaking the silence on the anti-Israel protest rocking college campuses nationwide. Alignment right now at George Washington University, just 6 blocks away from the White House, where protesters have raised the Palestinian flag.
And continue to wave them as well. And on the other side of your screen, video showing a statue of our nation's first president, that university's namesake, covered up with a Palestinian flag and scarf.
Welcome to Hour 2 of American Reports. I'm John Roberts in Washington, where all that's happening and what's going on in New York.
We're watching all of it, John. Good to be with you. I'm Sandra Smith in New York, and at UCLA, campus workers are coming to clean up that encampment that was in the early hours of the morning.
Dragons, own homeland.
Let's bring in Doug Waxman. He is a studies and director of the YS Nazarian Center for Israel Studies at UCLA. Professor, thanks for this. We really appreciate it. You say that you understand the situation of the Palestinians in Gaza, but then at the same time, protests do appear to be
I think that while many of the students protests genuinely are appalled by what's been happening in the Gaza Strip over the last 6 months and what ought to end, some of the organizations behind these protests, particularly Students for Justice in Palestine, has a more extreme agenda. They've expressed in the past support for quote-unquote resistance against Israel, which terrorism against Israel, so I think I object to that organization, but also more broadly to some of the demands and slogans and chants of the protesters. Their right to engage in peaceful protest. I take an issue with specific slogans and demands and some of their daily communication.
More than one occasion. I mean, we just had a student on here a moment ago who said her friend was attacked on her campus, shoved and pushed. We've had students on here who've been spit on and beyond. I mean, let alone they can't go to school, they can't go to class, they can't go to graduation. So this is having a bigger impact than just an occasion. How do you think the occasions where this does sour and does include violence, how should it be handled?
Well, I think as much as possible, university administration should try to de-escalate, should try to resolve the situation peacefully, to talk to the protesters, to try to essentially persuade them to stand down and to move out of these encampments. So I think as much as possible they should avoid bringing in law enforcement, because that only tends to escalate the situation. What we saw happen on Columbia's campus about 10 days ago resulted in the spread of to the United States and has really escalated. So the goal is to try to de-escalate. The goal, I think, for all administration should be to prioritize the students, both those in these protest encampments, but all the students, while ensuring that these encampments don't disrupt classes, don't disrupt the ability of all students to go about their lives and to stand in peace, and don't result in any kind of unlawful harassment, discrimination, or targeting against any students, such as Jewish students, but also non-Jewish students. It's a very difficult balancing act for administrations to be able to allow students to protest, while at the same time ensuring that that protest doesn't spill over into harassment or violence or disruption of business in the university. So I think they're in a very difficult position. Some administrations, I think, have been better at finding this balance than others. Unfortunately, at UCLA, what's happened over the past few days has really been terrible for the university as a whole and certainly for the students.
So, Professor Waxman, as we've seen in many other college campuses across the country, protesters there at UCLA are calling for divestment from Israel. They're also calling for the Nazarene Center, of which you are the director, to be defunded. Now, you say that the Nazarene Center has got no ties whatsoever to Israel, which so that begs the question, do these protesters really know what the heck they're talking about?
Well, I think, this does strike me, in the case of the demands at UCLA, as a particularly egregious demand. I don't agree with the demand to break up Israeli universities or Israeli academic institutions. But to extend that to a non-Israeli academic institution, an academic center at UCLA, which has no ties to the Israeli government, really makes absolutely no sense to me. I do think that there's this kind of impulse, particularly, as I said, by the more extreme groups organizing these protests, like Students for Justice in Palestine, to seize upon the sympathy of students and Palestinians in the Gaza Strip and the support that they have for Palestinians, and to
Such a beautiful game.
a demand to essentially try to completely isolate Israel and cut all ties with Israel. I don't think that's productive, and I don't ultimately think that's going to be effective either, certainly not in terms of stopping the war in the Gaza Strip.
Professor, with all due respect, you just described what you said was a delicate balance for the university to handle the situation. Since when is punishing lawlessness people breaking the law? Why is that a delicate balance? If you've got demonstrators occupying buildings, that's trespassing. You've got the decimation of property at George Washington. They're vandalizing a statue. It's against the law. I mean, you've got anti-Semitic slurs, threats to people's lives happening. Why is that punishable? Why is that a delicate balance?
Well, I'm not suggesting that the university administration shouldn't punish if students violate the rules of the university. And certainly there shouldn't be exceptions to vandalism, replacement, or property damage. But we have to recognize that there are students who have strong feelings and opinions about what's happening in the Gaza Strip, about this issue. And I think they need to be given an opportunity and a space to peacefully protest, as long as those protests remain peaceful. I think it's a question of what's the best means to respond to these protests, or to respond to the violations of university policy. And I think the best way to respond to that is not by escalating the situation further and having a very draconian or heavy-handed approach, but rather trying to de-escalate the situation. But ultimately, yes, if students are found to be in violation of university rules, then there needs to be disciplinary procedures and investigation. But that needs to happen, I think, as much as possible according to the regulations, the rules of the university, rather than bringing in law enforcement, for example, which necessarily tends to escalate tensions and create an even worse situation in college campuses.
I think at Columbia they figured that it had gone a bridge too far. They did try to negotiate with them even after the the initial police presence there felt that that was part of the recourse. Professor Don Waxman, good to talk to you. Thank you for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you. So on to NYU now.
Okay.
We continue to watch this scene play out. Protesters have reestablished the encampment there on the university's plaza despite being told to disperse or face consequences. Alexis McAdams is live at their course. Alexis, any sign of this ending?
Hey Sandra, no sign of this ending. There is a smaller group out here though in front of NYU today. There were hundreds out here just hours ago last night protesting into the early morning hours until they were kind of cleared out of the way here. I'd like to show you that encampment, right? The Gaza Solidarity encampment we've seen popping up at campuses across the country and in the city, but they're trying to kind of block our view here with their umbrellas. They also try to block their faces, right, with those masks, but they are screaming here on their megaphone. Let's take a look to some video that was just released a short time ago from the NYPD. This gives you a look at what the cops are dealing with when they kind of have to move in, because these urban campuses are a big issue, because it's not just students out here. And you can see NYPD going into that Hamilton Hall there. Of the hundreds arrested, Sandra, listen to this. From City College of New York and Columbia University, police tell us nearly half of them were found to have absolutely no affiliation with those schools. We know around 300 people were arrested at those protests, and after those arrests, students say they're still not backing down. Watch.
To remind everyone who set Gaza on fire that we will not rest, we will not rest, we will not rest until they divest and until the Zionist entity falls.
Okay, so a lot of people who live in this neighborhood, right, since it's an urban campus, say they're kind of sick of the chanting and the chaos, and that also includes an incoming graduate student we're going to check in with right now, John and Sandra. So tell me a little bit, Elizabeth, about why you chose NYU. You said you turned down Columbia because of what was going on there. What about NYU?
So I'm going into the sport program, and they have just an amazing clinical program for what I want to do. I'd like to be a therapist.
Okay, but with all this happening and you're a Jewish student, are you kind of worried at all about your safety? Are you thinking maybe this wasn't the best choice? And what would you like to see the school do here to help make you feel safe when you get to campus?
You know, I am Jewish, and I will not back down even if, all this is going on. I'm going to go to school and get an education. And it is disheartening to see. At this point, we're drawing parallels between this and Nazi Germany. And, they're chanting, Zionists are welcome. 95% of Jews are Zionists. You know what they're really saying. So, yeah, it's just unfortunate to see.
With the encampments that set up, and we'll move you guys this way, you can come with me too, but you can kind of see here on the side now, since this isn't, their umbrella's not blocking all of it, but you can kind of see around the corner there, that's the encampment. So, Elizabeth, when you see these encampments kind of set up around here, what do you think that sends, to the message, to these students? Are they in charge, or is the university, like Columbia and NYU, in charge?
We'll see based on their response.
What do you think that they should do with these encampments?
So I think suspension is a solution to this, and also for those who are not American, I think deportation.
Great. Well, thank you for talking to us, and that's kind of the latest here on the ground. We'll continue to see more umbrellas just like this. We'll keep you guys posted on if they talk to us, Sandra.
You know what? CB Cotton tried earlier, and they would not. Alexis, thank you very much for that. We appreciate it. Thank you. John.
All right, in addition to the parade of the umbrellas, continuing coverage on the Trump trial in New York, we just saw the former president enter the courthouse after the lunch break. Stormy Daniels' former attorney is back on the stand for cross-examination. Alina Hava up next with her thoughts on that. Stay tuned.
These were all timed by Democrat prosecutors, either elected or appointed, that could essentially know how long these cases would take and time them to hit right in the middle of campaign season of 2024.
That's made from superior materials. You have an eye. With Kind's luck, your package will be on the next ship out. More supplies. It seems this shift will never end. I'm told not to say, but your work is the best I've seen. Have no fear. I'll get your shipment where it needs going. Shifting cargo is thirsty work.
America's best, because I care as healthcare, and you deserve the best. I've been cooking most of my life. After seeing my parents cook, so I stuck with some of the Spanish dishes, some of the Cuban dishes, and I like to cook my own food because I want to know what's in it. Balance of nature is already incorporated. I put that up supplements out there, and they don't have what balance of nature has. So I am taking the initiative to stay on balance of nature forever.
Get 30 35% off your first order as a preferred customer. Call or go to balanceofnature.com and use discount code FOXNEWS.
Psoriasis? Oh, I couldn't get my hair done.
Then psoriatic arthritis. Cosenza shorts on both story.
People with psoriasis on the scalp have a 4 times higher risk for psoriatic arthritis. Serious allergic reactions, severe skin reactions that look like eczema, and an increased risk of infections, some fatal, have occurred. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms, have a vaccine, plan to, or if IBD symptoms develop or worsen.
Still working for me.
I'm Judge Napolitano, and let me give it to you straight. I've personally seen what goes on in D.C., and folks, we're going to have some real challenges ahead. Congress can't stop spending money, the Fed can't stop printing money, and our national debt is destroying America. How could this impact you? Well, your dollars buy less, and the value of your retirement could be worth less. That's why gold is so important. It puts you in control of your wealth. So if you'd like to learn more, call my friends at Deer Capital. They have over 25 years of experience and thousands of 5-star reviews and a 24-hour risk-free purchase guarantee. I buy my gold. Deer is who I trust.
Call now for your free gold and silver guide and receive Deer's latest report, $3,200 gold. See how exploding U.S. debt could get us there. When you call, ask how you can also get up to $15,000 in bonus gold. Call now to see how much bonus gold you qualify for. Call 800-880-2424. 800-880-2424. Tonight, Trump or Biden.
I don't know what they. There's another candidate out there.
Chunky is making third-party chances tonight on Jesse Waters Primetime.
What's the number one item in a crisis?
My life changed forever. During the pandemic, all of our lives changed. Trust fund. As life returns to normal, the increase in substance use and self-pay services report an increase in impaired driving that caused heartbreak and devastation. Now, more than ever, we need your commitment to never drive impaired and to encourage all your family members to do the same. Together, we can save lives.
I went back to bed and I lied down. I'm uncomfortable with this. Do you comfortable being uncomfortable with this much of a growth? You're asking us to reduce the family's medical bills due to hardship. I'm asking you to offset. Is that correct?
Wow.
We all need to find outside. I appreciate everything you come from. Thanks. Take no for an answer. I won't.
Campaign, one day without this ridiculous show trial, fight trial like all Roost does. My case, right smack in the middle of somebody's election. It should be illegal.
Cool.
Because it's election interference. A couple moments ago, walking back into court, the trial has been on a lunch break for the past hour. Things are getting back underway now. Our Nate Foy is live outside the courthouse with the latest. It looks like the issue of the gag order has come up again before the jury gets back.
That's right, John. So Trump just walked back into the courtroom and didn't say anything, but you mentioned Susan Necklace, one of his attorneys, is asking the judge to talk more about the gag order, of which there was a hearing before the jury was brought in this morning. As for the afternoon session, what we can look forward to is the continuation of the cross-examination of Keith Davidson, the LA-based attorney who represented both Stormy Daniels and Karen McDougal, as both women sold stories about alleged affairs with former President Trump leading up to the 2016 election. Trump's lawyers indicate they have less than an hour left of questioning. Just before lunch, Trump's lawyer, Emil Bove, questioned Davidson about the definition of extortion and his history negotiating deals to suppress stories involving celebrities like Lindsay Lohan, Charlie Sheen, and Hulk Hogan. Davidson did not connect any of the deals directly to Trump. He said Cohen told him, quote, "F it, I'll just do it myself," referring to the Stormy Daniels payment. Cohen also signed a confidentiality agreement with Daniels rather than Trump doing it himself. Davidson testified he thought Cohen was going to kill himself when he didn't get a position in Trump's White House administration. Davidson believes that Cohen wanted the Attorney General or Chief of Staff positions, and he says that Cohen told him, quote, "Can you effing believe I'm not going to Washington after everything I've done for that guy?" This morning, prosecutors laid out 4 more examples where they say Trump violated the court's gag order. They include Trump comments about the jury being 95% Democrats and comments about witnesses David Pecker and Cohen. Trump attorney Todd Blanche said that in reference to the comment about the jury, that it was more of a general statement regarding the jury pool with New York City.
All right, guys. We'll catch you tomorrow. Okay.
City. And then also he said that Cohen
Peace out.
specifically doesn't need any protection from the gag order because he continuously speaks about the case on social media, even profiting from it, accepting donations from his followers on TikTok. We'll send it back to you, John.
And there's an argument that that is fundamentally unfair, so we'll see where it goes.